You're listening to Top 4, a new series presented by the Game Pitch Podcast.
Join hosts Brandon and Eli as they build gaming Mount Rushmores every week.
Enjoy topics that range from the best multiplayer types to the top bug Pokemon.
Catch fresh episodes of Top 4 every Wednesday on the Project Nerd Network.
And don't miss new episodes of the Game Pitch Podcast, dropping every Monday morning.
Let's get ready to rank. Hello and welcome to the Top 4 and More podcast. I'm Elijah. I'm joined as always by Brandon. Brandon, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty swell, Elijah. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. I'm here with you to rank things. As always, if you haven't listened to the show before, we rank different gaming topics. So one week I choose one, the other week Brandon chooses it, and we go from 4 to 1, from the best of the worst, or sorry, the worst of the best of the best of the best, essentially. And this week I chose the topic. So Brandon, I chose games I want revived because of a few different reasons. But what does game revivals mean to you?
You know, I think game revivals in general have become more popular lately, right? Like, we're getting so many remakes, reboots, reimaginings, remasters, everything, right? You can't go good couple of months without having a large franchise or just even a small and well-beloved game being remastered these days, right? They're just popular. People are on a nostalgia trip. People want old games. It's just it's the hotness right now.
It is, you're right. And that's, I think, part of the reasons why I chose this is that at E3, you know, my hopes and dreams are all like around, of course, the exciting new things we're going to see. But all of my energy was like pushed towards there being a Banjo-Kazooie reboot or like a sequel or something. And then, so I want you to know right now, Banjo's not on my list. I decided to not put that on here because that's too obvious. That was like, obviously I fucking want Banjo-Kazooie. But like the thing is like I tried to find like franchises that have been dormant for a while, where there hasn't been a game release in many years. It has been speculated, but it's one of those things. It's like a cult classic that just people just like really like and just want back.
That's interesting that you say that because, man, when you told me this topic, I was like, well, he's putting Banjo at number one. Like, that's it. That's the list. This is just an excuse to talk about Banjo.
And I knew that you would know that, so that's why I did not allow myself the courtesy of doing that. I limited myself.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I'm excited to hear what your list is, and if that's the case, then.
Exactly. Okay, so my friend, I want to hear first your honorable mentions.
Yeah, so for honorable mentions, I just have the entire Nintendo library on the Switch because Nintendo, what are you doing? What are you doing? A lot of people, I think we had this conversation a lot before the Switch came out, and you were like, oh man, they need to do virtual console, and everything that you've bought previously needs to come with it. I'm not even asking for that, dude. I'll shell out, dude. I'll pay for everything that I've already paid for before. Just let me play it on my Switch on the go.
I have that same sentiment. I feel that same way. It just doesn't make sense that a lot of the games that just exist before are not available to get easily. Like you have to go to eBay. Like you shouldn't have to pay an upcharge on eBay. Nintendo should just be getting that money. So it's a weird business practice. No, I completely agree with you. Are there any other honorable mentions on your list?
Just one more, and I almost put this on my list actually, but I want another 3D Donkey Kong, my guy. I get that there are other, 3D platformers out there that are better from the Nintendo 64 era, but something about Donkey Kong 64 was just really special to me. I think the game had a lot of charm and a lot of quirkiness as well that some of the other platformers on the platform didn't quite bring to the table the way that Donkey Kong 64 did.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think of you as a person who liked, jungles in general, or someone who, like, I don't know, I never pegged you as like a Donkey Kong dude, but that's cool that you like it. Like, I've just never been really passionate about any of the Donkey Kong games.
That's fair. Elijah, I want to hear your honorable mentions.
So my first one's Parappa the Rappa, because I freaking love Parappa the Rappa. And there's just one game that came out like almost 20 years ago, or maybe more now, and I just love Parappa the Rappa, and I think that it's a quality franchise that I would like to see revisited in some way, shape, or form.
That one's a cult classic for sure. I never played it myself, but I know a lot of people really enjoy it.
My next pick is exactly like that too. It's Ape Escape. I think Ape Escape's cool.
Okay, that one got at least one sequel, right?
I think there's 4 Ape Escape games. 3. There's like, I know there's a Move one. I'm pretty sure there's 3 Ape Escapes, and then there's a Move one. But there hasn't been like a real Ape Escape entry since PS2. I believe. I might be wrong, but I did enjoy the Ape Escape games back in the day because they were essentially like Where's Waldo's. Like they would just drop you in like a Sly Cooper level, and then you would just run around finding all the monkeys that were hidden in it. So it's just a fun game. Like it's just like if someone spilled a barrel of monkeys inside of a Sly Cooper, sandbox. It's just fun.
You said a move game. You mean like a PlayStation Move, like back on the
Yes,
PS3?
yes, there was a PS Move game.
Man, I feel like that series that really sealed Ape Escape's fate, right? They just sent that one out to die. That was the last nail in the coffin.
An unjust murder in the streets.
You got anything else for me?
That's all I have for my honorable mentions. So tell me your number 4.
Wow, getting right into it. Moving along real quickly. I like it. So this one, I struggled to pick this list specifically just because I've got my eyes set on the future right now, right? We've mentioned this in previous episodes, but we're right on the cusp of that next generation. So I've got my mind set on current generation as well as next generation. But this is a game that I remember very fondly from my childhood. That I don't think really got enough love, and it's X-Men Legends.
Yo, yeah, because X-Men Legends got pushed to the wayside because Ultimate Alliance, right?
Exactly. So, and that's the thing too. Like, I think Ultimate Alliance, it was a more polished version of X-Men Legends for sure. But I think with today's technology, you could do a lot of really cool things with X-Men Legends. I believe I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but they created like a new mutant or whatever for the series that you could play as. Of course, I didn't do any of that. I was just like, give me Wolverine. That's
Give me
all I need.
Nightcrawler. Yeah, like where's Gambit? Let's rock.
Exactly. But man, imagine like a more modern X-Men Legends game where you get to pick your own mutant. You have like certain skill trees that you can invest in that sort of, well, they mutate your mutations. I think that there's a lot to explore with this like over the top action RPG genre in the X-Men universe. They could do so many cool
Yeah.
things with it.
And they could really go deeper with the customization, like way deeper. You can maybe even add like, oh man, like danger room stuff. Yeah, you're right. Like X-Men is so cool because there's like limitless potential because of all the cool powers that can be combined, whether it's like team up attacks or just different teams that you can put together. So I completely agree. I don't see it being like something where you're playing and it's not like a live service game, because like I just think that we're past, like, if it's a multiplayer game that's going to have more than 4 people in it, they're going to make it a live service game. So that does worry me. But look, as long as it's exclusive to the Xbox, because Sony is stealing Spider-Man away forever and making me cry, like as long as the X-Men are on Xbox exclusively, then I'm fine. Like let's just let that be the thing.
Oh man, I knew that Salt was coming. He was very salty about
So
this.
I'm so mad. You have no idea.
He canceled his pre-order for Marvel's Avengers, which I think we've talked about on the podcast previously. But we swore this game off for a year, Elijah, and then you pre-ordered it, and then you took it back. I just want to point that out to everybody.
I did fold. I was a hypocrite. I told you. But like I was like crying sad. I was like, look, I'm bad, I know. But look, the gods, you know what? This is actually my fault. Thank you for making me realize this. I decided 2 days before that that announcement came out to pre-order the game, and then I was smited down by the gods of gaming pre-orders, and they made me unpre-order because, my stupidity. So yeah, you're right.
Well, I forgive you, only because I would still get to play as Spider-Man anyways, because I have a PlayStation. I forgive you.
Oh, it's not a problem that I don't have a PlayStation. There's one in my closet right now, PS4 sitting there. I just choose not to play on PlayStations because they're not fun.
All right. I see your angle here.
I beat all the exclusives on it. They have the exclusives. I know. They're better. It hurts. Okay, my number 4 is Turok.
Okay. Because I almost put this one on my list, but didn't they just release a Turok game? Not like a good one or a main one, but like,
Yeah,
a Turok game.
I want a Turok, like a real Turok. Like, could you imagine if like id was just like, oh, by the way, the Doom team's just making a Turok game? Wouldn't you just like crap your pants? Wouldn't you just be like, what? They're making Doom with just dinos? Yeah, let's effing go.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. When was the last main entry? Was that on 360?
I think so, but like, see, like I'm going back, like I remember it on the 64 or like playing it on PS2.
Yeah.
Like I remember like old school Turok, and maybe like we can't go back to that time anymore because shooters have evolved so much. But man, Turok is one that I just like it's just cool. Like anytime you're fighting dinosaurs, that's why I like Horizon Zero Dawn, because it's like, oh, robot dinosaurs, of course I want to play this game. But the same thing, Turok is just like, oh, I'm gonna shoot Doom style weapons at a bunch of dinosaurs. Let's just do that, please.
Definitely. Yeah, I can get down on that. Turok was a special game back when it came out. And I think it still holds up remarkably well for, it being a N64 game. That was the one that I primarily played. And I would definitely get down on like a nice, like visually upgraded, mechanically upgraded, of course. But yeah, I'd get down on a new Turok.
Hey, look, I'm just putting it out there into the universe. I've been smoted down because of my Sony feelings and my Marvel pre-ordering, but please, gaming gods, like just reverse the curse and let me get some Turok. That's all I want. Brando, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is a new Burnout game.
Yeah, Burnout Paradise is sick. So wait, what's the 361? Is that Burnout 2?
Nah, it's Paradise. Paradise was the 361.
Okay.
I think they did 4 on the 360 as well. I can't recall. I know for sure. Like, okay, so I guess the main reason that I chose a new Burnout game.
Yeah, I know why. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't think you do. We'll dig into it though. But
Okay.
so Burnout was a special game to me as a kid because back when Burnout 3 came out on the original Xbox, and that was like the only console that my family had, that was like the family's game, right? Like everybody in the family played Burnout together. My mom would love doing like the races. I love doing like the crashes. My dad did a bit of everything. Like everybody came together and played Burnout, right? We didn't have this was before the Wii came out, and the GameCube I guess was primarily like my console. Like nobody else in the family really played on that, but man, my family really got down on some Burnout 3.
Dude, crash mode. It's all about crash mode.
It's
I
all
would
about crash mode.
I would pay $60 right now for a new updated ridiculous crash mode with like Mario Kart power-ups and like just random bullshit happening. Like that was always one of the funnest things to see, like what you could cause in crash mode. So yeah, all in.
And that's the thing too. I want like a traditional Burnout game, because as much as I enjoyed Paradise for like the open world that it introduced, I think I just have fonder memories of the traditional Burnout, where it was like a menu style game where you picked everything from a menu rather than driving there in your car, which makes more sense as technology grows and whatnot. But that was just where I had the most fun with the Burnout series.
No, I completely agree. But like, yeah, Burnout, solid choice. Thank you. I'm glad that there's a lot of like Xbox love, I think, like on this list already and coming up. Like, I feel good about it.
Nice. It's only because you salty about that Spider-Man though.
It is. It truly is.
Elijah, let's hear your number 3.
My number 3 is Viva Pinata.
Dang, son. I feel like I should have seen this one coming, but I didn't.
See, this is the rare game I chose because Banjo is too obvious. So here's the thing. Like, I don't think that there has never been a time more rife for Viva Pinata to come back and strike, because people really like Animal Crossing. They really like Stardew Valley that has, that farming. But this is like, Animal Crossing doesn't have the creature collection aspect. It does have like the bugs and the fishing and like you can only get so many neighbors kind of thing, but it's not like you collect the neighbors. So Viva Pinata, I just think is like the things that I like about Pokemon, where it's like cute creatures that you collect, and then also the farming aspects of a Harvest Moon, and it mixes them together beautifully. And I have loved every Viva Pinata game a lot, and Trouble in Paradise, the 360 entry, is one of the few games I still have installed on my Xbox right now.
Wow. I think, and maybe this is just me, but Bug Snacks gives off heavy Viva Pinata vibes.
Yeah, I could feel that with the like just Rare vibes in general, with the googly eyes and the way
Yeah.
that Rare makes characters. No, I definitely feel that. In the newest trailer that they showed off, it kind of did have more of a Pokemon Snap vibe, where you're like going around, but then you're like using certain tools to like make the bugs do stuff or appear, and then you catch them. So it's like, it's really interesting how that game's coming out or look like shaping up. But I don't know if it'll have the depth, because remember, like Pokemon Snap's kind of a short game, but the thing with
Right.
Viva Pinata is like, I put hundreds of hours into that game, like trying to get like the dragon and like the dinosaurs and like the golden versions of things. Like, it was just insanity.
I didn't even know that there were dragons in Viva Pinata, but that's pretty cool.
Pinata Dragon is quite solid.
Nice. Okay, cool. I didn't realize it was that deep, but I mean, I guess it's rare. They do tend to develop the crap out of their games for the most part. They really dig in deep there. So I get it. I understand.
I need a Sea of Thieves sized world, but just filled with pinatas and nonsense. I need an open world pinata game. Give it to me. Oh, that's like time out. Everwild's just Viva Pinata. It's just a trick.
I'm into it. I love it.
Brando, tell me your number 2 friend.
Elijah, you should have seen this one coming. It's Sly Cooper, man. I love all the Sly Coopers as well. I think 1 and 4, even though 4 isn't technically like, I don't think 4 is canon technically.
They can suck it.
Yeah, they can suck it. Yeah, exactly. No, I love all the Sly Cooper games. I think that the characters really drive everything that I love about it. It feels like they built the world around the characters, and I think it led to some really excellent gameplay, really excellent world design, really excellent story as well. It just had so much charm to it. It really did. And I just want more of it. And so that was one of the things that I kind of wanted to point out here, because when we talked about this list originally, when you said revival, I asked like, okay, so does that mean like a reboot, a remake, a sequel? And you said, world's your oyster, my friend. So I think if I were to request a Sly Cooper game, it would be a sequel. It would be a full on Sly Cooper 4 developed by Sucker Punch on the PlayStation 5.
That would be dope. And I think you might see something like that because we have Insomniac making like that budget Ratchet and Clank game. They went back to the well and they made a smaller Ratchet and Clank while they were simultaneously already making Spider-Man. Like those are both kind of going in the canon. So I do think that with the success of Ghost of Tsushima, you might see the main team at Sucker Punch going on to make Ghost 2, but then a smaller splinter team making like a traditional Sly Cooper game. That would be cool.
I would be really into that. The other thing too, one of the games that almost made this list, I didn't put in my honorable mentions just because I felt like this would be a good spot to talk about it. But man, give me some more Infamous as well. That's another IP developed by Sucker Punch. I really love Sucker Punch games. I don't know what it is about them, but I think that they're very well made.
No, like just as generic as Cole is, that first and second Infamous game are like really awesome. Like they're like way more awesome than they should be actually.
Yeah, I agree.
With how, like I said, I think Cole is like the most generic looking character of all time, but I do like those games a lot.
I'm glad you like them. Elijah, let's hear your number 2 now.
Brando, my number 2 is Time Splitters.
Time Splitters. Okay, I've never played Time Splitters. You're gonna have to break what Time Splitters down is for me, because I've this might be the first time I've heard of this game.
Time Splitters, there's 2 of them. Actually, I believe there was a third, but we don't talk about that because it wasn't. It was like the IP got used by someone else, but it wasn't the original people or squad or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
What always happens. But Time Splitters is essentially Doctor Who, the first person shooter. So you're a group that's like in charge of keeping the timelines good or whatever, but you like flash to Turok times, you flash to vampire times, you flash to alien times, and you like basically every level's a different time period.
Okay.
So you're going through like Victorian levels, you're going through modern levels. There's like levels that are like GoldenEye that are like a spy movie. So it's just like this really cool. I just love it, dude. It was like it's just like my favorite kind of time travel BS, protect the timeline kind of stuff, but as a first person shooter, and it's co-op, and you get to run around with your friends and blast vampires, and then you're blasting werewolves. But then in another level, you're fighting aliens or you're fighting robots, and like it's just like the far future or the far past, and you're going all over the place, keeping the timeline intact. And it had like one of those British senses of humor, kind of like in Fable. So it was just really funny and oddball too.
Sure. So if you got another Time Splitters, I assume it would be a sequel.
I don't even think that I need the stories to, I just want another game in the universe, but like that takes it seriously and wants to pay respects to the previous one while making something fresh.
Sure. So maybe more of like a reboot in the maybe sort of in the eyes of like the new God of War.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, something a little more mature but still fun. The multiplayer in that game was incredible. To capture the flag mode in that, or to capture the bag and like briefcases that became miniguns. Like there's just like so much weird stuff in that game. Like you could run around as a monkey or a dinosaur with tiny arms. Like everything about that game was really fun.
Very nice.
Just like off of center. Like just really different. So I guess, Brandon, that brings us to the most important game on your list, the one you want revived most. What is that?
Elijah, let me answer your question with another question. Who is the most important person in your life?
Man, that's a tough question. Are we talking like philosophically? Or are we talking like from a role model standpoint? Like what? This is a big question, friend.
Well, honestly, I expected you to answer much quicker. I just, we've known each other for so long. I feel like you were gonna say your mom just so fast. My number one is mother.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yo, Brandon. Yes. I love you for this. It's not on my list because I don't want Nintendo to hear me say the name out loud because it might run away and be shy because I don't want to put the curse of Eli on it. Every game I've kickstarted has taken like 4 years longer to come out than it should have. So I'm not going to say the name of this franchise, but God damn, am I proud of you for wanting. How many of them have you played?
So I've only played Earthbound, so just Mother
Okay.
2. And that was kind of the, I guess one of the things that I wanted to bring up here. Like, I don't know why this series hasn't gotten more love. Like, I get it may not be the most polished, turn-based RPG out there, but god damn it, does it have a whole lot of character, dude.
Dude, heart, humor. Look, here's the thing. Like, I would have gone the other way, and I would have said that, like, I think this is one of the best RPGs on the planet, bar none. Like, just there's plenty of Final Fantasies I will throw into a fire to save the game that you were talking about there. And the thing that's even crazier to me is the one that never made it to America that I played on a bootleg Game Boy Advance cartridge is even better. Like the story that Lucas is in is so good, dude. Like I'm crying, I'm laughing. Like I effing love everything about that universe. I
Damn,
I
dude.
would look as much as I love Mario RPG and it's my favorite game of all time, dude. I think Earthbound might be better.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad that you ride for this series as much as I do, even though I've only played the one. And so that was, again, one of the things that I wanted to talk about because if it came down to me getting either like a choice between a sequel or a remake or a reboot or whatever, at this point, I would settle for a licensed localization of Mother 3. I really
Yeah.
would.
And what's crazy is like so the bootleg version that I played is a fan translation of the game. So it's not even maybe what Nintendo would have done, but just the fans translated it from the
Right.
Japanese to yeah. So it was it's so good. Oh god, I'm thank you for saying that because what a good series.
Of course, yeah. You ride for this series, this game, as much as I do, obviously. What would you prefer? Would you prefer like a new entry, or would you prefer like maybe? Because I think that specifically Earthbound would do remarkably well if it got sort of a Link's Awakening style remake, in
Ooh.
art style similar to that.
Yeah, I almost okay. So what I would want is a new one, like a 4, so skip over 3 and like get a 4 just because then I believe it becomes like exponentially more likely that they bring over 3 and localize it because 4 is already out. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like,
Yeah,
oh, we might as well do that too. So it's kind of like a byproduct of that. But
sure.
what you're saying I think would be incredible too if they did like, oh man, I don't know if you've seen like the magazine ads for Earthbound before, but they like that clay style. What if they remade it in the clay style?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. I mean, look, they're good. They do yarn. They do freaking yarn Yoshi. They do, yeah. Give us Clay Earthbound. Just do it. Come on,
Give
guys.
it. Give it.
I
Nintendo, what
want
are
it.
you doing?
I'm doing that freaking Kirby Give Infinity trailer thing. I'm just like give Earthbound Clay version. Like I'm just. That's all I can do.
Nice.
Oh, so good. Oh, good choice, Fred.
Thank you. Elijah, it's that time again. Let's hear your number one.
Brandon, we are simpatico because I did not pick Mother, but I also picked a long dormant Nintendo RPG. I picked Golden Sun.
Yeah, I should have seen this one coming. I really should have.
I ride for Golden Sun so hard. It's so good. But it's that same thing where like, how is there not more of this? It's so beloved by the fans. And all the games are critically incredible. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't. Nintendo hates money. Like that's all I can all I can figure out or think.
Yeah. Are there 2 or 3 Golden Suns?
I believe there are only 2.
Okay, interesting.
No, wait, no, there's the DS one. Yeah, there's the DS one as well.
Didn't people really not like that one though?
Correct, yes. But that's I think it's because one of those things is just like, hey, it's on the DS, we got to do touch controls and all this touch crap. Like
Sure.
that, yeah. I see, and that's the thing. It's like where you're stuck between like, oh, I want them to do something cool and like new, but then also I don't want them to change the thing that I love. Like, because I really want there to be a Paper Mario game that's like the first two games, but that's never going to happen now because they're like, oh, there's this new technology, we're going to innovate and we're going to do this. And I'm just like, guys, just give me the thing that I like and then do some cool new things, but don't like force me to use touch controls. Like, that's one of the main reasons I don't like Spirit Tracks and like Phantom Hourglass as much, even though objectively they're like, all Zelda games are very fun and good, but like just the touch controls forced down my throat. I'm like, this is not what I want to be doing.
Right. So I'm gonna get real memey for a second here because it sounds like that the meme of the dog playing fetch and it's no take, only throw. That's you. It's no new, only old.
Yes, exactly. Let me get on my porch and be like, oh, back and Reggie. But like, it's so crazy that, well, here's the other thing that like blows my mind with a lot of even these old RPGs and how like new RPGs can't take the cues from them. So one of the things that Earthbound does that I was like revolutionary to me that no other game had done is that after you beat the boss in an area and you're like walking backwards out of the cave, all of its children or the enemies that were in that cave, they run away from you in fear because you have beaten their mom essentially. Like it was like, oh, this is so awesome. Like I didn't know that
Yeah.
would be a thing in a game. And a lot of games circumvent that where they just like, oh, here's a rope and you get out of the cave now. It's like, but in a real adventure, if you go all the way to the top of the mountain, you're gonna have to get down the mountain too.
Right.
So I just really enjoyed that aspect of it where they had the creatures like leave you. And it's the same kind of thing with like stuff in Golden Sun. I'm just like so blown away that other RPGs haven't ripped that off yet.
Yeah, definitely. So I've never actually played any of the Golden Sun games, but I do know how much the series means to RPG fans and Nintendo fans. Again, gonna get a little memey here, but it's like I feel like Squidward in the SpongeBob meme, where like SpongeBob and Patrick are playing outside, and I'm just staring out the window.
Well,
I've listened to some pretty in-depth analyses of the first Golden Sun, and man, it sure sounds like it was a special game.
yeah, and then the ways that is complemented by the second one and how they kind of have this dual story thing, it's
Right.
like one of the most impressive things that I've seen in an RPG in a really long time. And this is like, and I love RPGs, man. That's my favorite genre by far. Like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, that's my shit. I ride for every single Mario RPG that's out there. And like you're about to, take the little the gateway drug with that Mario and Luigi on the Game Boy Advance one, but you got the upgraded one. So yeah, like I'm hyped for you. And then like, yeah, like hopefully you just like want to keep jumping down the path of Mario RPGs. But for me, Golden Sun is something that I can't believe there's not more of. And I would love, I'd love a crack at making one myself. Like, just let me do it.
For sure, for sure. So I guess yeah. Let's answer that question. Would you prefer like a remake of the first two? Would you prefer a completely new entry? And what would that look like? Would it be more modernized? Would it be 3D, or would it still be some like that top down 2D kind of view thing?
I think that some games lose a bit when they go into 3D or they do the 2.5D. So one of the things that I did love about Golden Sun was its gorgeous pixel art and the way that like when the effects and the meteor or whatever you were hitting someone with the lightning, like just how much it popped. So they did this thing where like they had effects like looking greater than I've ever seen them look in an RPG on Game Boy. Like it was nonsense. Like, so just the particle effects, the way the pixels looked, it was very lush and vibrant. So I would actually want it to keep its pixel design. But what I think I would really like is even just a remaster of the first and second game as one collection that you could play as essentially one story, like one
Yeah,
continuous like thread. I would really dig that.
because so the stories they sort of intertwine a little bit, right?
100%. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'd be into that. Hey, Nintendo, make more RPGs.
We like them a lot.
We
And
like
then
them a
like
whole lot.
and then we cut to like their top selling games and it's like Mario Kart, which blows my mind.
Yeah, that those numbers that they released, that I just it didn't. I was surprised to
22
say the
million
least.
for Animal Crossing, Smash Bros in third place, Pokemon way below that, Zelda way below that, Odyssey way below that. So yeah, single player games don't sell, man. It's all about multiplayer.
Apparently,
Hurts my
apparently,
heart. Hurts my heart. It's okay. I'll forever RPGs is me.
Elijah. Before we conclude this episode of Top Four and More, I have to ask: had we recorded this episode like what is it, a couple months ago at this point, um, would Pokemon Snap have been number one for you?
It might have been. Also, if we would have recorded this just a week ago, Suikoden would have been on the list. But there's a remake of a spiritual successor to Suikoden coming, which is another
Nice.
RPG of a bygone era.
Well, that's let's hope against hope that maybe they'll take cues from the Suikoden franchise and revive these old, long dormant RPGs that we love so much.
And that, of course, brings us to the end of this edition of the Top 4 More podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Brandon. You can check out this podcast on projectnerd.com, or you can find it on Apple or Google or Spotify, all those places. You can find us, me, and Brandon on Twitter. Brandon's at Mr. Snow 97. I'm at Mario RPGino. Brandon, take us out.
Thank you so much for listening to Top 4 and More. We hope that you'll join us again next week so we can do this thing that we just did and just be real cozy up in your ears.